What's going on, guys? Welcome to Everything Always. My name's Michael Roman. Now, hopefully by now you've all had a chance to catch up on episode 5 of WandaVision. If you haven't, huge spoiler warning, that's what we're talking about specifically today. The enormous reveal and cameo at the end of the episode. Evan Peters as Quicksilver, we're just not sure which one. We've had a ton of fans, authorities on YouTube, and now even industry insiders weigh in the last 48 hours as to their thoughts about who this character is. We're going to break down all of the reports and theories, and eventually I'll weigh in with my thoughts on who Evan Peters is really playing, whether this is the Quicksilver from the now defunct Fox X-Men universe, and what it'll mean for the multiverse going forward in the MCU. We're going to break down everything Evan Peters and who this character really is, but first, if you could grab the subscribe button. We're still giving away a PlayStation 5 at 800,000 subscribers, as well as brand new Disney Plus subscriptions throughout the year, as long as the Disney Plus shows are live. If you want to be entered to win, all you have to do, hit the subscribe button, then leave a comment down below, and if you want, stick around to the end of the video. We'll get into all the giveaway stuff again there. So depending on where you've been on the internet in the last couple of days, you've probably read as many opinions as I have as to who this character really is, some ill-advised, some absolutely ridiculous. And as I said yesterday in our full Easter egg and recap video that I'll make sure to link at the end of this for episode 5, this conjecture is going to become a lot easier once we get more details about the character. In the meantime, let's just start with the facts and work our way backwards through the power of deduction. And when you do so, there's really only a couple of options for things that could be going on here. First of which, we know that Evan Peters is now playing Pietro, a version of Wanda's brother in the MCU, who historically from the comics is Quicksilver. Fact number 2, Evan Peters also played Quicksilver in one of the now defunct Fox X-Men universes. The synchronicity of him playing the same character in the MCU and Fox has piqued all of this interest in the first place, and what begs the question, is this the Fox version of the character? So let's start right there. Option number 1, this Evan Peters Quicksilver is the same Evan Peters Quicksilver that we saw during the Fox films. Now, if this is true, some questions get answered immediately. Why Wanda didn't immediately recognize him? She did mention she can't bring people back from the dead. Maybe she's now filling them in with characters from alternate universes. This is in fact an industry insider report last night on Geekosity from friend of the channel Mikey Sutton, one of his sources revealing that that's indeed the case. Unable to resurrect Pietro in the MCU the way she explained it to the boys about the dog, she can't undo death. She's bringing in other characters that exist for the multiverse where she can't bring them back. Of course, what does this mean for her dead father? And could we see Michael Fassbender's Magneto? Well, let's not get ahead of ourselves. First of all, in order to confirm that this is the multiverse version of Quicksilver, the one we saw in the Fox films, we're going to need some dialogue, some memories, some contextualization, and until we get that, it remains an open-ended question. An open-ended question you can be sure that Marvel Studios and the writers on the show know that we have, and they're going to leave it that way to build the suspense. However, if this is the multiverse version of Quicksilver we saw in the X-Men films, it would go a long way in explaining why they chose this actor in the first place to play this role on WandaVision, and would also explain all those reports, rumors, and confirmations we have. Jamie Foxx's Electro, Alfred Molina's Dr. Octopus, even new rumors of Norman Osborn, Willem Dafoe returning for Spider-Man. We know that in some capacity, characters from the now defunct Sony Spider-Verse are returning to the MCU. Why would it not be the same case with this character? Well, why it would not be the same case with this character is option number 2. This is not the Evan Peters Quicksilver that we saw during the Fox films. He will have no connection to that character. Rather, he's just playing a version of her brother, either reincarnate or a member of the town who's now acting as her brother, maybe even eventually the villain Mephisto. Before we start breaking all of that down, because this is where the facts end and the speculation begins, I want you to ask one critical question. Why in the world would Marvel cast Evan Peters to play Pietro if he was not connected to the Quicksilver role he already played? Now look, WandaVision has been deep, layered, and allegorical on a level I never thought I would see out of Marvel movies, even given the breadth of what we had in the Infinity Saga. This is some English 101 type stuff. An allegory, if you're not familiar, a story that's meant to represent other stories on multiple levels. It's deeper than a metaphor, and I'm sure if somebody took the time, you could go through entire scenes dialogue, maybe even entire episodes, and find the one-to-one analog for Wanda's backstory that we already know in the MCU. This is a long way of saying that there's a chance Marvel Studios and the writers on the show, because of how meta and allegorical the show is meant to be, chose to use Evan Peters in this role under the disguise of her brother before the reveal of him as the main villain of Mephisto, which had been reported many times over the last year, just as a way of sort of referencing the X-Men universe without actually connecting him to it at all. Now that seems like a long shot, but if the show itself wasn't so metaphorical in the first place, there's probably no way we'd consider this. However, given everything we already know about the show's multiple layers and levels, there's a chance that that's what they intend with this character, so I think the door is open for this casting to be strictly metaphorical, a way of getting our audience guard down as they sort of Trojan horse him in as the villain. Now look, is it more likely the case that he does connect to the multiverse? Maybe. It's what the reports are saying, but it's hard for me to believe that Marvel would do that in this show and then answer those questions. I mean, if anything, the show has done nothing but ask questions the entire time. We're already through the halfway point, and maybe we're not getting the answers we're looking for until Spider-Man 3, or even until the conclusion of this 3-part series in the Multiverse of Madness. But my final thought, as a way of sort of putting a cap on the end of this thesis, is that if this character ties to Aaron Taylor Johnson's Quicksilver we've already seen in the MCU, it's Evan Peters with a really bad New Jersey accent, however he has the memories from everything they've already experienced, then I think it's definite that he's Mephisto under the guise of being her brother. That's why she won't recognize him, and the meta part of that is the reference to the fact that he already played Quicksilver in Fox's universe without tying it directly to that. I'm hoping that makes sense. I tried to say it as clear as possible. They'll allow some of it to be meta, but then they'll also have him have the memories of the current version, Aaron Taylor Johnson's version, so that he does act as her brother, and then we know definitely it's the devil in disguise. Guys, let me know all your thoughts down below. Please weigh in with your thoughts and theories. I know some of you are going to be disappointed either way with this. Will you be disappointed if it is the Fox character? Will you be disappointed if it's not? Let me know all your thoughts down below, and quickly, let's get into the giveaway stuff before I let you go. We're still giving away a PlayStation 5 at 800,000 subscribers, which we could easily hit by month's end or next, and continuing to give away Disney Plus subscriptions while all the shows are live. If you want to be entered to win or for any of the future prizes, all the same rules will always apply. Hit the subscribe button because you need to be a subscriber, then leave a comment down below because it's truly random. The more videos you comment on, the better chance you have of winning. All winners will be selected and announced at the end of videos the same way we're doing here. The best way to keep up with the content and those announcements is to hit the notification bell with notifications turned on. And of course, if you enjoyed today's video, I'd appreciate it if you'd hit the like button. My name's Michael Roman. You can find me over on Instagram and Twitter under IamFires. You can find me on Spotify under All Fires. You can find me on Twitch, streaming twitch.tv/Novellin, and there are links down in the description to all four. Thanks for checking out the channel, guys, and stick around. We'll be posting again real soon.